Nigeria's security landscape continues to deteriorate as suspected bandits mounted another deadly attack in Kaduna State, killing at least 3 persons and abducting 3 others in the Bundu Kahugu community of Lere local government area. An incident that has thrown the community into mourning and reignited demands for urgent bolstered security presence in the area, according to local sources and security reports emerging from the scene. The attack reportedly took place at about 11 p.m. on Monday, December 29, 2025, under the cover of darkness when unidentified gunmen stormed the village, opening fire sporadically and creating panic among residents. The National Secretary of Bundu Kahugu Community, Ishaya Dauda, confirmed the incident to reporters on Tuesday, stating that the assailants came late at night and began to shoot, killing 3 community members identified as Felix Augustine, Luka Yakubu, and Ezra Namata, and abducting 3 others whose identities were still being confirmed as of the time of reporting. According to Dauda, this marked the second attack on the same community within less than 2 weeks, heightening fears among locals about their safety and the ability of security forces to prevent repeated incursions. Residents said the attackers operated with confidence, exploiting the cover of night to launch the raid and then retreating before any effective resistance or response could be mounted. Calling it a targeted assault, community leaders have appealed directly to the Kaduna State government and security agencies to urgently deploy military personnel to the area to forestall further attacks and provide a sense of security for villagers who have been left traumatized and unsettled. In addition to the call for increased security presence, residents also urged telecommunications companies to improve network coverage in the community, noting that poor communication networks are frequently exploited by attackers who use the gaps in coverage to operate freely and escape without prompt interception by security responders. Efforts to obtain an official reaction from the Kaduna State Police Command were ongoing at the time of filing this report, with calls and messages to command officials not immediately answered. The recent attack in Bundu Kahugu comes as part of a broader pattern of violent incidents across Kaduna State and other parts of northern Nigeria, where armed bandits and criminal gangs have continued to wreak havoc on rural and semi-urban communities. In the past month alone, security analysts and local authorities have recorded multiple reports of kidnappings, killings, and raids in various local government areas, with residents living under constant threat of attacks and displacement. The renewed outbreak of violence also follows security warnings issued by a humanitarian organization about planned attacks in the region, including areas in northern states during the Christmas period. Although the presidency at the time dismissed some of the warnings, the spate of attacks has manifested in rising insecurity in several communities. Locals in parts of northern Nigeria have expressed fears that the escalation of violence in one area can trigger retaliatory or opportunistic raids elsewhere, leading to a cycle of insecurity that is difficult to break without sustained and coordinated action by security forces. Historical data on banditry in Kaduna State highlights the severity of the problem, with official figures showing that hundreds of residents were killed and thousands kidnapped in previous years as armed groups continue to operate with impunity in many parts of the state. Community members and civil society groups have repeatedly called for a change in strategy, emphasizing that reactive measures often come after attacks have occurred, leaving families to cope with loss, trauma, and economic disruption. In addition to the Kaduna incident, other violent attacks have been reported in recent days, including a blast at a mosque in Maiduguri, Borno State, which killed at least 5 people and injured more than 30 worshippers during evening prayers. Security sources linked the bombing to militant extremist activity, highlighting the multifaceted nature of insecurity in the region. That attack further underscored the persistent threat posed by groups such as Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa Province, which have carried out numerous deadly attacks across northeastern Nigeria over the years. In Zamfara State, communities have continued to face brutal raids as armed bandits abduct residents, destroy property, and disrupt daily life. Reports emerged last week of villages being targeted, with dozens of women kidnapped and 2 civilians killed in early morning raids. Similar patterns of attack have been recorded across the northwest, where poor communication networks and vast rural terrain make it challenging for security forces to mount rapid response operations.
In Katsina State, armed groups have also been implicated in fatal attacks on farming communities, killing multiple residents and stealing livestock. While in Kebbi State, multiple villages have reported coordinated assaults that left several people dead and forced families to abandon their homes. Security experts note that the violence has not been confined to one location, but has spread across a wide area, affecting states such as Sokoto, Kaduna, Zamfara, Katsina, and Borno, among others. This week's attacks in Kaduna and reports of bombings in the northeast come amid increasing pressure on the federal government to intensify operations and adopt new strategies that can effectively deter and dismantle armed groups. Local governments have responded by increasing patrols, deploying additional security assets, and conducting joint operations with military and paramilitary forces. But community leaders say these measures have yet to translate into lasting peace or significant reductions in attacks. Residents in affected areas have continued to organize community watch initiatives and early warning networks, but they acknowledge that such efforts are no substitute for formal security presence and robust intelligence gathering. In addition to physical insecurity, the human cost of repeated attacks has been devastating. Families mourn the dead, children are left without parents.
Local economies suffer as people are afraid to farm, trade, or send children to school. In Zamfara, repeated kidnappings have forced entire villages to flee, with many seeking refuge in larger towns where resources are already strained. Similarly, in Kaduna State, educators and parents have talked about the disruption to schooling, with some schools shutting down early or reducing hours due to fear of bandit attacks. This insecurity has far-reaching consequences, affecting education, health, economic activity, and social cohesion within communities that feel abandoned or inadequately protected. International human rights organizations have previously documented the impact of banditry and militant attacks on civilians across northern Nigeria, noting that rural populations are often the most vulnerable due to limited access to security infrastructure and political marginalization. In some cases, delays in response by security forces and poor intelligence sharing have exacerbated civilian vulnerability, compounding the sense of helplessness felt by many villagers. As of this report, security agencies in Kaduna State and at the federal level are expected to issue statements on operational progress and efforts to secure the people, while local authorities continue urgent calls for a permanent and strategic security presence in hotspot zones. Analysts say that without a comprehensive and sustained approach, the pattern of violence is likely to continue, underscoring the need for improved cooperation between communities and security forces, advanced surveillance, better communication networks, and effective counterinsurgency strategies that protect civilians and dismantle armed groups. Nigeria's ongoing struggle with banditry and militant violence remains one of the most pressing national security challenges, affecting thousands of lives, disrupting social order, and undermining confidence in protective institutions. As attacks continue to occur on a near-weekly basis, the demand for actionable interventions from both state and federal governments grows louder, with residents, civil society, and community groups united in calling for an end to bloodshed and the establishment of lasting peace across the affected regions of the country.